Hey everyone, welcome to Martin Kotlin, and today we are gonna be building a full REST API using Ktor, a modern Kotlin frameworks for backend development, developed by JetBrains. And by the end of this video, you will be able to create a full CRUD application using it. So let's get started. Before we dive in, you will need two things installed first. That is IntelliJ IDEA and API testing tools like Postman. I will be using Postman for this video. And first, we will generate the project using the official Ktor project generator. I will put the link in the description below. Okay, this is the website. You can see the project artifact here. Think of this like the package name of our Android app. I'll just put my company name on it, but you can just use whatever you like. Below on this left, you will see plugins. These are essentially the dependencies that the generator will automatically add to our Gradle files later on. And for this project, we only need two to start. That is routing. Yeah, this one we already added, and we're gonna need serialization, Kotlin X serialization, which automatically added content negotiation for us. And once it's done, we will click download, uncompress the zip file, and open it in IntelliJ IDEA. Alright. Here's the default project structure for our Ktor project. And if you're coming from Android, this should look familiar. We have our Gradle files, Gradle folders, and our source code in src. First, open the build.gradle.kts. You can see the plugins that we added previously on the generator. That is serialization.kotlinx.json and the server.content.negotiation. But where is the Ktor routing? Actually, the routing is already baked inside the ktor.server.core dependency, so you don't need to worry about that. But it did create some template files for us in this. Routing.kt and serialization.kt. Once we added that in our generator, it already includes these template files. So there's that for creating a Ktor project. Now we will jump into making our first endpoint. Now we already opened the routing.kt, and you will see an extension function called configure routing. This is where we will define all of our API endpoints, and this function is called from our application.kt, which acts as a main entry point for our entire server, just like how main activity acts as an entry point for an Android app. Let's create a simple demo endpoint to see it in action. Let's go to routing.kt, and inside the routing, we will be creating a new get function, and this will be the endpoint of the demo, and we will call a response of let's say demoing our app. Let's try to run it. We can run it using Ctrl R, but we can just click right here, run application.kt. Okay, now that it is running, we can see right here responding at 0008080, which is our port. Let's run the app. Nice. And let's go to our endpoint, which is demo, and voila, we have already successfully get to this endpoint. Okay, now let's build our CRUD API for a list of animals. The four main operations that we will use is get, pause, put, and delete. First, we need a data model for our animals. Inside this directories, we're gonna make a new directory, a new package called model, and we're gonna create a new data class called animals. So this animals.kt, we're gonna make a new variable for the ID and for the name of the animal itself. Don't forget to add the serializable to this data class. Let's go back to the routing.kt, and for this tutorial we will store our data in a simple in-memory list using mutable list. This list will reset every time we restart the server, obviously, but it's perfect for this video. So let's create a helper function to generate UUID. Let's call it random list, a random ID. This will return a string. This will call the UUID from java.util and random UUID and to string to adhere to our data class. Great. Let's start with our get endpoint then to fetch all the animals. Get animals, and oh, I forgot to put the mutable list over here. Animals dummy mutable list off. We don't need that because we're gonna directly call the data class, and for the ID we're gonna call the random ID that we just made, and for the name I'm gonna use my favorite animal, that is shark. Alright, let's go to this get block. Let's call the animals dummy inside this, and then let's restart the server. It is running at 000 port 8080, as you can see. Now we're gonna open this up, and we go to the animals. Alright, now that it is run wonderfully, let's implement the post endpoint to add the new animal to the list. Let's add the same endpoint, that is animals, and first we're gonna get the request body sent by the client, and we expect it to be a plain string with the animal's name. So we're gonna make a new variable that will be call receive. Alright, and we put it string because we expected only string from our client. As a safety check, if the name is empty, we'll send back a bad request error. So let's make the condition if animal is empty. We will call bad request and with the message of animal name is missing, return. So we have to return this each time to make sure that it is not running the next block like this. New variable, new animal is the one that we're actually gonna put inside the mutable list. So let's call animals, and for the ID we're gonna use random ID again, and for the name we're gonna call it from this animal name. Perfect. Now we add animal dummy, and finally we can call the newly created animal with status code of is created, and we're gonna put the new animal on it. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna restart the app, and to test this we need Postman. How do we use Postman? Okay, we're gonna open Postman, but we're gonna copy this URL first and then open up Postman. How do we use it? Simply just add a new request. I'm gonna name this animal, paste the URL over here, plus the endpoint, don't forget the endpoint, and then change the method into post. And in the body tab over here, we're gonna send a raw text. Let's say we're gonna add walrus to the mutable list. Let's send it. Alright, it is successfully sent. Let us check the animal list using this get method. You can create this get method using the way that I just showed you to create the post method. And then, okay, there's a small typo over here, but let's see if it works. Okay, it is working perfectly. Nice. Let's put the postman aside for now. And what if we want to edit the name of the animal? Well, let's create a put endpoint. Below the post function, we're gonna call a put method that will be on our same animals endpoint. Also, the ID. We're gonna call the ID from the URL path over here. And how do we call it inside the training lambda? We will create a new variable called animal ID that will be call parameter. Now this is where it gets interesting. So this will call the ID from the path. That is interesting. And we're gonna create a null check using this alphys operator. If the client is not okay, let's put this down here to make it more readable. So if the user on the client did not put the ID using put method, it will return this bad request. Next, we will call the updated name using the call receive, just like how we do on the post function over here. See, it's the same. And we're gonna be receiving string. Also, we need to find the ID of the old animal. We're gonna make this new variable to find the old animal using find function. We're gonna find inside the mutable list of animals dummy of the ID, whether it will match with our animal ID that we call over here. Okay, and if the animal is null, we're gonna return a not found exception. Animal not found. Perfect. Now for the real thing, we're gonna put the rename animal into the old animal using this variable. So we're gonna call the animals data class again, and we're gonna put the old animal ID and put the rename animal updated name. Perfect. Remove the old animal before we put it inside the mutable list. Okay, so we're gonna call the animal dummy and remove if the ID matches the animal ID. Then and only then we can add the animal to the list because it is already deleted. Finally, we can call the rename animal as a response. Alright, let's test this. Test this. I'll grab the ID inside the postman. So okay, we're gonna restart this first, and then we're gonna open postman after it is successfully running. Alright, let's get to postman and let's check it out. You see the walrus is doesn't exist because every time we restart the server, the data will be reset because it is using the in memory. Oh, I forgot that we're gonna copy the ID, not the name of the animal itself. So yeah, let's get to the edit animal. Don't forget to use the put method over here. Okay, now yeah, for the body, what if I want to change the shark into a whale? Can we do that? Okay, it is responding with 200, but let's see if we got it right in the get function. Okay, it is now renamed to whale. So the put function has been successfully implemented. Perfect. Finally, let's implement the delete endpoint. We have already implemented it a bit over here actually, but we're gonna do this the correct way using the delete method. Okay, we're gonna be using the same path, same endpoint, that is animals, and we're gonna use the same method like put. To check for the animal ID. Yes, so we just gotta copy it, and let's see if we're gonna find the animal first. Okay, we're just gonna copy this and paste this because we're just copying the mechanism, and then remove if. Alright, now we just have to call respond old animal dot name is deleted. Nice. We're gonna restart the server again, and now the server is already running. We're gonna be going into this postman for the final test. Let's delete an animal that is shark. Okay, we're gonna copy this, and we're just gonna use this. Okay, and we're gonna change the method to delete, and for the body we just gotta delete it, and we're gonna try sending it, see if it works. Okay, shark is deleted. Let's see the final list. Nice, it is an empty list now. It is gone. We have successfully built a full CRUD API. Congratulations. Now please note that because we use in-memory list using the mutable list over here, all of our changes will be lost when the server restart, like you see before. And in the real-world application, you will connect it to a persistent database like PostgreSQL and MariaDB or Firebase or MongoDB, which we can cover in a future video. And that's it for the fundamentals of routing and building REST API in Ktor. And thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment if you got any question, and don't forget to subscribe for more Kotlin content. I'll see you in the next one.
I wish I could leap on to another universe where people just be out of unethical words.